joining. I think this is a great way to spend your time, and lots of giveaways as well. So I think it's all good. All right, it's 5 on the dot now. Good to see you again as well. Test 101. Play the video, give it some time so that Ife can join, and then we'll kick off. So just listen to this. Hello, my name is Farm. The question is, are you ready? Because this time, it's not just going to be big, it's monumental. In the spirit of International Women's Day 2025, we're making big and powerful moves. Vision acceleration. So here we never talk about wishful thinking. We're all about turning big and bold and beautiful dreams into Oh wow.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
I'm
How are you
good. How are
today?
you?
Good to see you. Great.
You too.
You're looking like a boss lady as always.
I wish. I wish. How's everything?
Can hear you well. Great. How is Ife today?
I'm good. I'm good. Hanging in here. Hustling.
I know. Congratulations on the amazing event last week. Oh my goodness. Have
Thank
you even
you.
recovered?
I haven't. I haven't, but it's cool. It's cool. How's everything?
Usually we give it to, yeah. How but yeah, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Is it my network or your network? Because I can hear you well.
Oh, yeah. I think you're back now, which is fine.
Okay.
All right, guys, can you talk? Is it my internet? Okay, so I hope there's no internet issue. Hey, Manny, how are you? How are you guys? Give me. All right, we'll give it 2 more minutes. Let's just keep flowing. I'm hoping that the network is not going to be an issue. Maybe it's I don't know.
I'm not
But you're
sure.
the guys. Can you hear? Let's talk. Is that great?
I can hear you well.
Fantastic. Whose network is breaking? Someone is writing that. Is it mine? Is it my network? Oh, someone has a. You need to tell us your stylist. Your hairstyle is amazing. Okay, cool. I got
Thank
that.
you.
All right, cool. Okay, guys, how was the traffic? Oh my goodness, where were you in that traffic 2 days ago? That thing was bloody, I hear.
I was at home.
Oh my goodness.
Thankfully. It was, I was just
Exit.
seeing messages. I was like, what's going on? Let me just sit at home. Because I had a meeting and I was like, okay, let me rush to my meeting. I was really feeling myself. But after I started seeing messages, someone was supposed to meet me at my house at 10. And at 1 o'clock,
Okay.
she was still telling me she was in traffic. And I was like, but you said you were on Third Mainland Bridge. I thought she was lying. Then I went online. I just started seeing messages, all sorts. I was like, oh my God, today is that day to sit at home. So I sat it out.
Uh, at least you had the option to sit at home. Some of us didn't have the option to sit at home. But it was
Um,
absolutely crazy. And
mhm.
and I mean so many people were caught. I mean, up until 12, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
People were
Hmm.
still there. Good. So where
Yeah.
were you guys in in the traffic? I hope so. I hope you didn't get to sleep online. Sleep
Hmm.
on the
On the
on the
road.
road. Cool.
Hmm.
All right, cool. You know what we're going to do? Let's just give it a start, and those who are latecomers will join. Hopefully, what we do anyways is that this is recorded, and people can always have the opportunity and the option to go and
Hmm.
watch it all over again. Only bad thing is that if you're not available here, if you're not participating, you don't get to be part of the guys who pitch. So
Hmm.
fingers crossed that all of these guys make it on time, and fingers crossed as well that the internet works. Okay, so Let me welcome everyone, guys. Okay, please ensure to engage. Obviously, you know that this is a big criteria. Talk to Ife. I mean, ask questions as much as you can. Even
Mm-hmm.
though I mean we're trying to have fun, we also want to learn. All right. I mean, it's an honor to have someone of high caliber, Timban caliber of the Nigerian society here with us. If it was a master class, we'll be paying a lot of dollars, right? But here we have her free of charge. And I'm going to tell you what I went through to get her here. But okay, that's another story for another day. But we are open to learning. Ask your questions. And when I read her profile, you understand what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so cool. Welcome again. This is our 14th edition. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Emmanuel Asika. People call me Manny. And my day job, I'm a salesman, a tech salesman. Sometime in the evening on Saturdays, once a month, we do this and we have fun. A couple of things we do, obviously, is entertaining, but beyond entertainment, we are particular to say that there's a digital divide in Africa, and we want to definitely be part of the solution. There's a lot of people who talk about the negatives of Nigeria. Absolutely fine, because I think that the more you talk about it, you bring it to the fore, and then people begin to listen. However, that's not what we do here. We do some talking, it's largely to empower you digitally, but we also try to hit the heart of the problem and then talk solutions. So there's a mantra we have: we would rather not curse the night, we will light a candle in the dark, which is definitely what we try to do. And this started a long time ago, sometime in Edo State, where we give out a laptop and we realized that actually, if we want to bridge the digital divide, we definitely need to empower people with devices. And so this is a start. We do it one person at a time, and hopefully we will have beneficiaries here today. Today, however, we're also celebrating women. Okay? So it's the International Women's Day. So hopefully we have women who win laptops today. Women, yeah, hope you will. You win. Hopefully you gave good pitches. Hopefully you
Mm-hmm.
can then also come and give good pitches when it's time. And just a secret though, by the way, every single time we've had women pitch, they usually do well. And that says a lot about women. So this is a celebration of vision, acceleration, and extraordinary women who are shaping Africa's digital and financial future. So Ife is doing fintech and all of that. So here we want to spotlight Ife's story. We want to help walk with her on her journey. We want to hear her tell stories. We believe, like Chinua Achebe said, for those of you guys who do literature, that the story is our escort, the story is our guide, and without it, we're lost. And so we're telling stories. Okay, so get ready to hear Ife speak with us, and let's have some fun together. All right,
Okay.
cool. So let me read Ife's Ife's profile. Do they call
Is
this?
it
Is
really
it Ife?
necessary?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Now, so typically what we say, by the way, Ife, is that any person can talk. All right. So sometimes it's not what is said, what is who is saying it. That is the problem, because the person who's saying it has gone through battle scars and can show that this is what I went through, to get to it. Okay, so we'll do it. We'll make it brief, because obviously you know that the profile is heavy. Okay. So let me let me do the abridged version. So Ife is a globally recognized author. Maybe you talk to us about some of your books. Entrepreneur and young leader with over 10 years of cross-industry experience spanning finance, marketing, and manufacturing. She holds a degree in biochemistry and an MBA in global business. She is the founder of Haconomy, just in case you didn't know. It's a groundbreaking fintech platform, and it's redefining financial services for women in Africa. I will ask you where the men are, by the way, one of the questions, and why you
They're
are being biased.
included. They're included.
But she offers high yield savings, financial education, access to community, and discounts on women-centric products and services. Her commitment to impact and inclusion has earned her global recognition. Just so you know, Ife is a Mandela Washington Fellow, a global shaper with the World Economic Forum, and the recipient of the 2022 Tech Entrepreneur of the Year award by Globant. She was named one of the 100 most influential young Africans by Advanced Media and invited to the 2023 Goalkeepers Summit by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for her leadership in driving gender equity. She serves on the Youth Advisory group for solutions for youth empower employment, and that's a World Bank coalition targeting employment for 150 million youth by 2030. And I think that one of the ways to do so is to get them digitally ready. And that's one of the reasons why she's here. Her company has trained 85,000 women, and it's not just talk, it's actually true, both online and offline. Now the accolades are plenty, from NASDAQ to Google Black Founders Fund to Amazon's, first recruitment partner in Nigeria. She was recently recognized as the best femtech startup in the Africa Tech Ecosystem Accelerator Storm. Is a mouthful, but I think it's important that you guys understand who we're dealing with here. Okay, so Economy, and I love Economy, and we'll probably talk about it a bit, continues to emerge as one of Africa's most promising fintech startups, empowering women to build wealth and financial resilience. Now, beyond business, Ife's advocacy, one of the reasons she's here for women and youth, has taken her to prestigious platforms such as Harvard University, where she has spoken on women in democracy and its impact on African businesses. She's been named a Peace Scholar by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs. She's received mentorship from Akon. I don't know if she can sing. We'll ask her that today. And she was honored with the Women's Advocacy Award by the West African Leadership Organization. She's also a proud One Young World ambassador and has been listed among the top 100 women by Leading Ladies Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. This is going to come out now.
Thank you. Thank you
I
so
don't know why
much.
this. I don't know. Okay, yeah, this is working now. I was wondering where these stars are not coming. Come on, come
Yeah,
on.
really techified. You're really techified. 'Cause I didn't know that you could do that. Let me try
This
it
also
if it
comes
will
out.
do.
Come on, come on, come on. See, look at that. Did you see the heart?
So why isn't mine doing?
I don't know. You're not the only one.
Oh, yay!
and, and
Okay.
and this one as well. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh,
All right. So
fantastic.
lots of drum beats. Yeah, we are here. Good, good. Yes. And I'll just read some of the comments. The first profile is making this place hot. My phone is hanging. Okay. Ife, great to have you here. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
We're privileged to have you here. All right, cool. So we'll just start, go straight into the meat of it, and let's have a good conversation. One of the very first questions we ask any person who's joined the Mannyville Live series is, what is one thing that people don't know about you? You know, you're in the public space. I mean, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, obviously, and every single place
Mhm.
you turn around. So your life is really much out there, right? So we know a lot
Mm,
about you, and I've read your profile, so now we know a lot. But what's one thing that people don't know about you
know
that would be
about me.
shocking, but also decent, right? Of
Okay,
course.
so I'll say a couple, very quickly.
Okay. Okay.
So one thing that people don't really know about me is that I'm not that serious. So people think I'm serious and but I'm actually very, very playful, very chilled.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And another thing is I love to dance. Like I cannot hear music and stay still. I'm always
Ooh.
dancing, so that's another thing. And the last thing is I can eat pounded yam without
Oh
soup,
my
and
word.
I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy. So
Oh my
that's
goodness.
another thing that's weird, but yeah, that's me. So I gave you three
Pounded yam.
things. Yes.
Three fantastic. Okay, one is you can dance. I was hoping that you say you could sing because of
I
Akon, but
can't sing.
okay.
She saved my life. I cannot sing. I
Pounded
can't.
yam. Which state are you
Mhm.
from?
I'm actually from Ogun State, so I don't know where the pounded yam. My love for yam. I don't know where
Oh,
it came from, but I love. I can eat anything yam. I can eat yam in the morning, afternoon, and night. But I'm from Ogun
oh,
State.
August. Okay, yes. Okay, okay, cool, cool. Okay, that's fine. So three things, guys. Three things. This
Mhm.
second one is also quite always intriguing, and I give you a backstory to it. Some of the most amazing guys in tech usually had maybe not you, and it really doesn't matter. Had very bad starts in their educational life, and it's the ones who we've had here. So,
Mhm.
what's your woman in tech story? And tell us, maybe you can also add how that led you to founding Economy. But what's
Mhm.
your tech story, Ife? What's your tech story?
Fantastic. So my women in tech story is very funny because I never imagined myself in this space at all. Um, in fact, I think I became an entrepreneur by mistake. I really wanted to just work for a multinational because I'm
Mm.
very scared of poverty. I'm scared of not having money. So I'm one of those people like, let me just have a good 9 to 5 in a multinational and continue right because I'm a hard worker, so I will definitely rise in that career. So I was like, let me just continue working, till I retire and all of that. I don't mind staying in one company. Like I said, I'm very chilled. But I had my daughter, my eyes started tricking. I started seeing different problems. I started seeing different problems in the economy. I like to help people. I like to solve
Yeah.
problems. So for every problem that I encountered, I looked for a solution. And and a lot of my friends were also having kids around me. So I also tried to look for things that would also help them to make their own journeys easier. So the first business I started was Parliament Bambini, which was like a kids furniture company. But that was something I
Okay.
was just doing on the side. I wasn't thinking about doing any going into full-time entrepreneurship at the time. So I was doing it, I was applying for grants, I was getting the grants, I was,
Okay.
pitching my business and all of that. And everything was just growing, blowing up, blowing up. And I got into the Tonelimo Entrepreneurship Program, and even though every year they get like 1,000 people to they give out grants to 1,000 people, but for some very weird reason I stood out, and so I did a pitch
Mm.
that I was so scared to do. In fact, they
Mm.
shortlisted 5 people out of the 1,000 in my year, and asked us to come and pitch on the day that we always gather, like I think in October or something, after the whole training and everything. And I was excited, but on the day I got scared and I was like, I'm not pitching anymore.
Oh
And
wow.
Owen Omogiafo, who's currently the president of Transcorp Group, then she was like the manager of the alumni
Ah, okay. I remember
thing
her
or
now.
something like that. She encouraged me. She was like, no, Ifeanyi, you must pitch. You've gotten this far. So I pitched in front of 1,000 people and I didn't die. And it was crazy because I actually won that pitch. And that just made me like
Oh.
believe more in myself. Like I couldn't believe it. I cried. It was so scary, but I did
Mm.
it and it changed my view of a lot of things. So from then
Mm.
on, because of that pitch, I became more visible in the Elumelu community. So whenever they had like billboards, it would be my face. When they had all
Mm.
kinds of things,
Mm.
when they were looking for, because I now then started teaching other people how to get into the program. So I also then
Okay.
became the I think the youth lead or something for Southwest
Mm.
Nigeria. So I had a lot of like leadership what would I call it, opportunities within the alumni community. So that also helped me. That's also how I got into the World Bank youth as a youth advisory member as well. The opportunity came
Okay.
from the
Mm.
foundation. So long
Mm-hmm.
story short, eventually in 2017, after spending 5 years working in this multinational that I had dreamt about, I decided to quit my job. So I quit
What
my job
multinational
and
was it, by the way?
I was working at Nigerian breweries. So
Ah,
it's
MBA. Okay.
Heineken, yes,
O-
yes, NB. I was
Okay.
working there.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
So I decided to then quit my job. And very funny, it was just like a God's direction. There was nothing wrong with the job. I was even crying when I was leaving. My boss was like, "Oh, you don't have to go. You can continue your job on the side. I'll be your business on the side. It's not affecting your job." I was like, "No, but I need to go. God has said I should go." Like it was so weird for me because I'm not even a very spiritual person, but I got so many um cues to leave, and so I was
Mm.
just like, okay, this was the time for me to go. So I then decided to quit my job. So I then created a
Mm-hmm.
community. Actually, I wrote my book, Accessing Grants for Startups, because beyond the Tonemelu grants now, I had also been
Mm-hmm.
teaching other people how to now get grants. I had also gotten other grants. Then more people just kept on asking me, oh, how can I know about this grant? How can I know about this opportunity? So I started to write a book to just put everything in my head in the book, and so that people don't just keep asking me every day and it doesn't take too much time from, my business at the
Mm-hmm.
time. So wrote the book, did the book launch. Then we started to create a community where we could then start updating with information on grants and different opportunities that people tap into.
Mm-hmm.
We call the tribe, or we call the community AGS tribe. So this
Okay.
community grew to about 1,500 people, and
Mm-hmm.
most of it was like then at the time like 80% women. So we started when we launched the book. We also gave out grants. So every year we're giving out grants to women at the time, women-led businesses, just showing them that it's possible. We're giving grants to the tune of 1.5 million naira. Every year we'll pick 3 people. Some years when we got more sponsors, we'll expand the grant as well to like 10 people. We just used to do things like that. And we also, because of this community, we also got real life data on the issues that women were
Yeah.
facing. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
issues were things like access to
Mm.
financial services, access to capital. A lot of them couldn't save. So case in point,
Mm.
me. I was working for this multinational. I wasn't
Yeah.
saving. And when I spoke to so
Mm.
many people around me, they also were not saving. So even though we had good jobs, fat salaries, they hired me from London. They brought me into Nigeria. Do you understand? So my salary at the time was good. I was also earning in Jad. I had saved. Immediately I moved back to Nigeria, I bought myself a brand new car. Things like that. And I was not saved. I was not really saving. After I bought that car, everything defeated. I started, started the journey again, of not, I was just not saving. I was just thinking, no matter what, if
Mm.
I will always have a job, so there will always be money coming. But that's not the mindset to have. So I found out
Mm.
that there's so many people around me also who were
Mm.
not, especially women who were not growing their wealth. A lot
Mm.
of us were literally living from paycheck to paycheck. But I would
True.
see some other people who were even earning way less. They'll tell me, "Oh, I bought this land. Oh, I have this, small house somewhere." And I'll be like, "How is it possible that you have that?" And we that we're earning okay, we're not able to, save. So
To
I
get by.
realized that it's not about how much you have; it's about what you actually do with the money and compounding
Mm.
interest as well.
Mm.
So
Mm.
we then started doing savings challenges within the community, just trying to get all of us to like save together, encourage each other, and all that, just to see how possible it was. And in the first time, I think 3 months, we saved about $100,000 collectively, and I was like, "Whoa,
Oh
that's
wow.
possible!"
Oh wow.
Like
Oh wow.
people that in their lives they had never seen bulk money in their accounts, they realized that they did it and they did it easily. And it's just like,
Mm.
okay, this thing is
Mm.
possible, right? So at this time, like I said, the community was still called AGS Tribe. Then we decided to do a pivot to financial services because that was like the highest complaints that we were getting. So we said, okay, we're going to grow into a full-fledged bank, but what is our lowest hanging fruit? What can we
Mm.
operate with before we get a banking license? How can we come together, work collectively to be able to provide like high yield savings accounts? Not just because some people have savings, but that savings is not actually growing. So then we decided, let's build our own technology so that we could actually automate this. So the
Yeah.
savings challenge that
Yeah.
we're doing at the time, we're actually doing it
Mm.
on another platform. So the community kept on saying, "Oh, they want us to do it on our app," because we had a community app at the time. So we asked this company if they had an API where we could just integrate, because my background was actually not financial services. So I was like, I can't even be bothered to go and start
Mm.
learning all of these things. Let me just connect the API and just move from there. But they didn't have an API, and it was becoming a pressing need for the community members. So all of this
Mm.
was very organic. It wasn't something that I planned. But when
Mm.
we
Mm.
decided to
Mm.
pivot
Sure.
from
Sure.
AGS Tribe to her economy, which is from community to fintech, the community came on solidly head on. So we raised funding, and like about 60% of the funding that we raised came actually from the community. So we raised $600,000 in
Wow.
24 hours, which is like
Oh
history. Like
wow.
nobody has ever done it. I don't even think globally anybody has ever been able to raise money that
Mm.
quickly. But the only reason why
Mm.
we're able to do that was because we had the community's backing. They had already gained so much from the community. They had already seen the
Yeah.
impact of the people within the community, how their lives had improved from some of the teachings. We
Mm.
then obviously was now this was like COVID year, COVID
Okay.
going down. So we used to have weekly capacity building workshops. We used to bring facilitators from all over the world, in Nigeria's all
Mm.
over Nigeria, all over the world, to just come and educate, community members, and all of that. So we then pivoted to financial services, obviously starting by providing high yield savings accounts, access to discounts from different women centric products and services. And obviously, we continued the grants. We also gave out grants last week to women. So we've been doing that. We've also started loans. We've introduced loans, but more for like low income communities. So we started from Ikoyi Obalinde market. So that's my journey. It was very
Wow.
organic. I didn't think I
Okay.
was going to be here. In fact, I remember
Mm.
He's now
Mm.
Commissioner Akin Oyebode. He's currently Commissioner for Finance in, I think,
Mm.
Ekiti. And I remember him telling me, if you're still going to do finance, you're still you're still going to do this was like when my book was launched, and he was like, "Oh, you're still going to do finance and all that." I said, "No, that's not me. That's not my dream." I told him, I said, "I'm not
And
doing
here
that."
you
He
are.
said, "Okay." Yeah, he said,
And here
"Okay, no
you are.
problem." I actually need to reach out to him to say, "You said this thing." So
And here it
yeah, so
is. Cool.
yeah, here I am today. We built for
Fantastic.
economy, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
been.
there's so many, yeah, thanks. There's so many talking points. I just want you to elaborate, and it's an amazing story. First of all, it's
Thank you.
organic, meaning that, I mean, at this day and age, people just need to be at the cutting edge of where the market or wherever the momentum is
Hmm.
going, and be prepared.
Yeah,
Because again, there's a lot that has been said about you need to plan properly, understand your 10-year goals from today, your 5-year goals from today,
doesn't
and
work
here's
like
Ife
that in real life.
who just stumbled, who stumbled, who stumbled upon it. Okay, cool, fine. So there are two things that you mentioned, and considering the fact that we have very young people here, you quit your job, all right? How do you know when to quit your job
Hmm.
and not what's the word, crash land, so to speak, especially in the kind of economic situation that we are in
Hmm.
Nigeria. If that's one important thing. And then so you did quit your job. That's one. And I see obviously that there was still a lot of networking that you did, all right,
Yeah.
that you had advantage, to be in. But that one is an important one. So help me speak to the guys on that
So
before
to the
people
people
start
thinking,
resigning, and then they say that if I said they should
let me
resign.
tell you something. Don't resign because it is hard. Like I would never advise anybody to resign. In fact, when I think about it, I'm like, if you're actually crazy because you don't have backup. Like if anything should happen to you, what are you gonna do? So I wouldn't tell anybody to resign until you're
Mhm.
actually making more money than you need to survive on a monthly basis.
Were you
Like
doing that though? Were you making
no,
more
so
money even at the time?
mine was a purely spiritual decision that I did not even understand at the time.
Okay.
And till if not that it was God, because I had been getting the prompting to leave a year before, but
Hmm.
because of my regular, like my real life sense, and knowing that if you don't have backup, you have to have money, how you going to survive, all of that. I did not even think about it. When I was getting the prompting that, oh, leave now, blah blah blah. I said I'm not going anywhere. Like I need to have money. So I honestly wouldn't advise anybody to leave, and because it's except obviously you really really hear from God and you're sure you're hearing from God. But I don't want to go spiritual because that's a different lesson on its
Oh,
own
true,
or a different
true, true.
journey. But in
Mm,
reality, you have to
mm.
like when I quit at the time I was earning 30,000 naira from my business at the time. It was
Okay.
extremely
I was
tough.
little.
My
Yeah,
first
yeah.
week in full-time entrepreneurship, we got robbed. Like, so my office, they gave me a laptop when I was leaving, a new laptop when I was
Okay.
leaving. We're excited. We got a small factory in Surulere. We got bugged. That laptop was stolen.
Oh my
Like,
words.
trust me, so many unexpected things will happen. You will crash land. Like, even if those things don't happen, you will still crash land. Even when things are up, you will still come down. There's so many stories like that I can tell. But you have to have that spirit of resilience. There's so many times I wanted to give up. Last year, oh
Hmm.
Lord. Last
Even
year,
as early as
I
even
I
as
I
early
thought
as
I was going
last
to
year.
die.
Okay.
Sorry?
I say even
Last
as
year I
early
thought
as
I was
last year.
Yes, even as early as so now I'm telling you that something everybody will be seeing you outside. They don't know they are dying inside. So it's very,
Mm,
very, very serious. Like especially when
mm,
you have a family. Like I have two kids. You're
mm,
thinking how you want to give your kids the best life. I had the best growing up, and I'm not going to lie that I had some privileges and stuff like that. And I also want to be able to provide, those privileges for my children. So
mm,
I
mm.
I know how hard I work. I know some of the things I had to do last year to be able to stay afloat. So
Okay.
you have to
So it's
have
an
that
ongoing
spirit of
journey.
resilience. Yes, you
Mm,
have to
mm, mm,
really, you have to have a strong support network. You have to have people in your ear telling you not to give up and you have to believe that you're on this journey and you're actually creating value. You don't just, some people have ideas and they think those ideas are so great. that they're going to
Yeah.
change the world, but they're actually not great. You have to be realistic with yourself. You have to ask people around you, and
Yeah.
ask people to be real
Yes.
with you, because people will like to say, kudos, well done. When the chips are down, they're not going to be there. you know
Absolutely. Tell me
so
about
you
it.
have to, yes, you have to really really think about it, that are you really solving a problem that people actually need, or are you just doing a passion
Hmm.
project just because you like it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you really really need to know, and that is what will drive you when things are really down. Last year, dollar and naira, like naira was just going up and down. A lot of people that have money were saying they wanted to keep their money in dollars, because there was no, they're thinking, oh, why would I keep money in naira, blah 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 blah. The people in Nigeria who had money in naira, a lot of them, they're not thinking about saving. They didn't have enough disposable income, because everything went up, everything, diesel went up, they didn't have any disposable income to save. Without saving, we're not earning. Like, the ripple effect of it was just mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
start from? So there are
Mm.
things beyond our control. Even though we had the fantastic product, everything was working, we know
Yep.
that there's a
Yep.
problem, we've created a solution for the problem, but where are the customers? So sometimes, even though you have all your ducks in a row, things may still not work out for you. So
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
really,
And
really need to be sure that you want to toe this journey, because it's very lonely, very tough. So you have to have that
good.
spirit of resilience. Yeah.
Fantastic. Entrepreneurs in the building. Okay. I mean, it's not a walk in the park. There's a lot of determination and grit
Yeah.
that goes with success. And I think the thing is, you talk about the God factor, which is that factor. Now,
Yeah.
I think it was a Harvard review a long time ago, where they say, they were talking about the elements that make people successful.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, there's charisma, there's planning, putting your ducks in a row, checking with the environment, etc., etc. However, there was still 30 to 40, close to 50% X, where you really don't have a control over
Yeah.
how this thing will blow. I mean, um, look at Bill Gates, Microsoft. I mean, his
Mm-hmm.
was probably not the most brilliant idea at the time, but he
Mm-hmm.
was the one that blew,
Mm-hmm.
in quotes. All right,
Yeah.
so there's also that element. But I mean, what we have control over is that we prepare, we're ready, we get
Yes.
into the community, but we have to
Mm-hmm.
do our bit, and then
Yes.
hopefully the elements will align.
Mm-hmm.
But at least let's do our bit. So the point
Yeah.
is, people, uh, be sure before you resign.
Be sure before you resign. I wanted to even
Yeah,
give a
yeah,
story, and this is
yeah.
a very
Tell
popular
me.
person in Yaboyeji, who was the
Absolutely.
co-founder of
Yeah,
Andela, co-founder of
yeah.
Flutterwave. He's built some of the biggest companies out of Nigeria that have eventually
Hmm.
become like unicorns and stuff. And
Hmm.
when he told me one day, he said, "Ife, I actually started a business
Hmm.
that did not blow. Nobody heard about it. Right, I think the business had to do with books, maybe online books or something like that.
Hmm.
And somebody else has started that business, and the business is actually doing well for that
Hmm.
person, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
sometimes it
Hmm.
might just not be the right time. You might not
Yeah.
be the right person for the business. So
Hmm.
there are just
Hmm.
so many factors. And he now went on to do
Hmm.
Andela and Flutterwave, and now he's doing, other
Yeah.
things, and those things are working. So sometimes you pick
Hmm.
lessons from those things, and you learn other things for your future. So don't even beat yourself up about it. Like I said,
Hmm.
resilience, having that community, having people around you who are
Hmm.
trying to do similar things in business, and who have gone through the path that you are just about to go on, will really really make the difference for you, so that you know that you're not
Hmm.
alone.
Fantastic. So we normally like hear your own story, and you made a great point. Success is very much celebrated, but failure obviously shapes us tremendously.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you can point us to, that's relatable about you? I mean, you talked about the naira dollar issue, obviously, which was crazy. But is there
Hmm.
one that you can talk to us about, where you failed dramatically, but you learned
Where I
from it?
failed. Hey.
Dramatically.
So let me see. There's so many. So, for example, oh my God, sorry. The business that
Sorry,
I
no
was
one.
talking about that I started, right, at the
Uh,
time. So, it was a fantastic business until today. We actually still
uh,
don't have like competition. People still come to meet us to say, "Oh, I want to order a baby cot. I want to do this. I want to do that." But the business
mhm,
we still had to shut it down based on things like co-founder issues, right? Not necessarily that the business wasn't good. It was a fantastic business idea. It was doing well. We were growing very quickly. We were getting a lot of like recognition, but we still had to shut the business down. So
Mm.
that and when the business shut down, the business failed. No matter how you want to look at it, no matter how you want to sugarcoat it and stuff. So yeah,
So
so the
that business failed for you. You've had a couple of businesses that you've tried out that you had to pivot eventually, right?
yes, of
Okay.
course. Yeah. They're different things. Like Mandela Washington Fellowship, I applied 3 times. I didn't get in
Hmm.
until the fourth time. Even though I was
Hmm.
even helping people apply, like helping people review the applications and they got in. So I knew that it wasn't about my writing style. In fact, for two out of the 3 times, I got shortlisted for the next step, and I did like a one-on-one interview. So there are different things that you know make you not be shortlisted. So you just never know. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
many failures. Yeah, many.
Cool. You talked about, and I thought this one also stuck, about having to pitch to 1,000 people at the Tony Elumelu
Yeah.
Foundation, and you had butterflies in your tummies. Do you still have butterflies in your tummies? And if we had,
Every every time. Every time I'm pitching, like I teach people how to pitch, but when it's
okay.
my turn, I still have the butterflies. So it's okay to have the butterflies. It would always come because you always feel, especially as my like what I do now, I feel like, oh, people are thinking, oh, I'm this big, I have a big business and all that. So I feel like the people have a huge expectation of me.
Expectations,
So,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
just like, I'm just this chill babe, just trying to get ahead. Oh, don't give me this big, don't put me on any pedestal. So I already think that people are judging me once I come on stage. So of
Absolutely,
course I'm still gonna
absolutely.
have butterflies. I still have butterflies all the time. I'm still like, oh, did I make sense? Was I
Mm,
rumbling? Was I speaking
mm,
too fast?
mm,
Things like that.
mm. Three
Yeah.
things though that you would advise people to always have at the back of their mind when they want to pitch or present. Just three things. If there were three things, you to tell them, okay, so these are three things before you go. You will have butterflies. That's a
Yes, you
given,
will.
anyways.
Always
But
be
what are the
prepared. Like it
okay?
doesn't matter where you're going to, like no matter the audience I'm speaking to, even to primary school children, I prepare.
Mm.
I have notes. See my notes. I have notes now as well. Like I don't underestimate any audience. I
Okay.
always go and it was a friend of mine that taught me. She's currently a partner at McKinsey. She's like, if she was come to speak to AGS tribe and she was so prepared, she came as she prepared as if she was going to Harvard. And I was like, babe, it's not that serious. She's like, everything is serious. She's like, everything
Mm,
is serious. So
mm,
I took that
mm,
from her and I always go
mhm,
prepared no matter what. That's one thing.
mm,
Secondly,
mm,
just speak confidently. Nobody knows your business and the
as well as
problems
you.
and the solutions
Mm,
as much as you. Even if you make a
true,
mistake, continue
true.
talking. They don't even know. They didn't even
Mm.
notice it. So, and if you made a mistake, they will, and somebody noticed it, they will ask you when you finish. Because if you're preaching most times to an audience, to judges or something, they would eventually ask you to clarify what you had said. And when they ask you, because obviously you've prepared, you will now say the real thing, right?
Mm,
So because when you
mm,
pitch, sometimes the nerves are there. Instead of you say 10,000, you say 100,000. Things like that. You say, oh no, you meant to say XYZ. So
mm.
just even if you make a mistake, don't say let me go back to that slide, let me explain. No, just be
Fire on.
confident, fire
Mm.
on, and continue saying it. And the third thing is don't give up. So even if you don't get that pitch, don't feel
Yeah.
defeated. If that money or
Hmm.
something, don't feel defeated everywhere, and don't feel like you're saying the same thing over and over again because there's always a new person who is learning about your
Hmm.
business. So it got to a point where I felt like, I'm pitching again. I've pitched to like maybe 10,000 people in my life. And I feel like everybody has heard about this. Why am I saying it again? Oh, women are
Hmm.
underserved, blah 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 blah. But people are still so fascinated when I talk to them about it. So I'm just like, oh, you just have to still look excited, still be excited
Hmm.
about your
Hmm.
business because there's always one new person that will be converted when you speak, whether they become a customer, whether they introduce you to
Yeah.
another customer,
Absolutely.
or whether they introduce you to a new funder. I know
Hmm.
somebody who went to Africa Tech Summit and he wasn't even I don't think he even registered, but he just went around the summit, just trying to with the hope of meeting investors and all that. And he was feeling a bit defeated that he traveled all the way to I think Kenya or I think London, one of the countries where it was hosted. And on the last day, even though he didn't get investors, he got businesses,
Yeah.
that signed up to his product that gave him his revenue for the year. So he got like
Wow.
$150,000 worth in
Mm,
business. And he wouldn't have
mm,
ever gotten that. Is better than any money that any investor can give you, because that would immediately make your numbers jump. So in
mm.
turn, your revenues are up, your valuation of the company is up. So trust me, you just have to just keep it moving like that. Look for every opportunity in your speech your business. Yeah. Those are three
Fantastic.
things.
Talk. Fantastic and well noted. Talk very quickly on the imposter syndrome, uh, and how that has affected you, if you ever had it. Some people say they never had it. So I mean.
I always have all these. I don't know why I have all these things. So because I have that, a lot of people think, like her economy is such a big company. In fact, we sponsored
and
the
and
Woman
and it
King.
is actually right. So just so you know, we're just
We're doing okay. We sponsored the
okay.
Woman King, and I went for the premiere. And Woman
Oh
King
wow,
is
wow.
an
Yeah,
American movie,
yeah. It was
and
massive. Yeah, yeah. It was.
massive. We got to the premiere, and somebody was like, "So tell me, who is the owner of her economy?" And I was like, "So don't I look like an owner? Like I don't understand, So so that happened. Like you feel so to him, he didn't believe that the person who was in front of him was the person who actually started the company, right? So
Interesting.
sometimes you're invited into certain rooms that you feel like,
Yeah,
for me, for example, I didn't go to school to read finance, right? So sometimes
yeah,
when I get invited to some particular rooms, I'm feeling like, these people, they are like gonna be eating, sleeping, dreaming finance from their birth. What am I doing here? Sometimes you feel like, am I supposed to be here?
yeah,
But you're supposed to be there because that's why they invited you. I got into a
yeah.
program
True.
last week, and I was telling the coach on the program at Lagos Business School, I was like, let me just tell you from now, I'm not a finance, person from scratch. He was like, that's why you're perfect for this program. And I was
Oh
like, okay.
wow.
So yeah, he was like that. That's why I wouldn't think I'm not going to run a bank the way other banks have been run. So
Absolutely,
there's certain things
absolutely.
that you bring to the table. Obviously, you bring the finance experts on board because this is a fintech company. But I won't be
Mm,
stuck in my ways. I'll still be open to listening,
true,
to
true,
different
true.
ideas. I'll be more innovative, about
Mm,
our products and things like that, as opposed to people who are just used to what they're used to already. So those are some of the
absolutely.
benefits. Yeah. So
Fresh,
imposter
fresh,
syndrome
fresh.
always happens.
Fresh
Yeah.
perspective. Great, great. Okay, so let's do some practical questions and let's see you talk about some of the products and that you've created. I said this. I mean, it was written interested practically. So Mama Bola is a fisher. She leads a community of other women who are also financially excluded. What practical steps can she take to accelerate financial inclusion for these women at scale? Which is really talking about what you do, to be honest.
Yes.
All
So
right.
these women in the low income communities, women like that's
Mm-hmm.
what would I call it? The kind of person that you described. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing to even
Mm-hmm.
help those kind of people is financial education. You need to
Mm-hmm.
educate these women because a lot of them are falling into different traps. A lot of them are not investing their money, they're not saving, they're
Mm-hmm.
probably putting their money under their pillows, and they will continue to just remain the same. A lot of them don't have credit history, a lot of them cannot
Yeah.
access capital because they're not keeping their money where it's supposed to be. A lot of them are not registered, a lot of their businesses are not registered, so you need to educate them on the reasons why those things have to be in place so that they can tap into some of the opportunities that are available. So number one, first things first, to help those people, financial education is key, right? Then another thing
Mm-hmm.
is we can do, or another thing that we do is to offer them incentives for savings. So, for
Okay.
example, we run a lot of savings challenges, and a lot of these kind of women, they're used to saving in groups. If for the ones who are saving, so we offer them incentives. So
Yeah,
if
Joe,
you
right?
yeah, yes, and saving in groups with Agile, and then imagine if you now give them incentives that, okay, if you save,
Mm-hmm.
we'll give some people will be selected for an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's to give them credit or a little bit of cash, something for
Mm-hmm.
their business or for their child or something,
Mm-hmm.
just incentivize it. So that's another thing that we do. Another thing that we do is to build their trust. So instead of us just going to
Yeah.
meet them directly, we
Mm-hmm.
go to the community leader. So, for example, for the loans that we're doing with Obalende Market, we went through the Iya Oloja. So she just said, "Oh yeah," she was excited that, oh, they actually need capital and all that, and that we should come on a particular day. And the day we went, it was as if they had been waiting for us. So,
Mm,
and the only reason I'm sure why they jumped on it was because it came from a trustworthy source, which was the
yeah,
lodger that we all know.
of
And the only
course.
reason that we were also very comfortable in giving it to them was because the lodger had told us that, see, all these women, we know them, we know their houses, we know their families, so they're in a community.
Mm,
That's why community is so important in anything you're
absolutely,
doing. A lot
absolutely.
of, like, this Manny series, I'm sure you guys
Mm,
now have a community of
yeah,
different
yeah.
people that, if there's any opportunity that I have, I
Mm,
can come and say, oh, I'm coming to your community. I want to come and empower people, because I know that a
yeah,
lot of people in your community have interest in digital literacy. So if
yeah.
there's any opportunity that has to do with like digital literacy, I know where to go to. He came to me just because he knows that we have people, women, who want to improve their lives and all of that. So he's giving people community laptops. We've had all kinds of people in the past. Facebook, during COVID, Facebook was looking for who to give out grants to, for people who had suffered the impact of COVID-19, and people were not
Mm,
applying for the grant. So information is sitting within communities and community leaders.
absolutely, absolutely.
They came to meet us, right? And a lot of people from the community got grants from Facebook. So the way to scale what we're doing, giving women access to financial services and helping them grow their wealth, more importantly, is this. These are some of the fastest ways that we do it, and how these are the ways that we've seen that have worked. Also offering them digital devices. Trust me, in the
That's a,
market,
yeah, yeah.
it's
That's something I
so
wanted to
key.
ask.
Like,
Yeah.
you hear, I've read a lot of research. They'll say mobile penetration, phone penetration is at 98% in Nigeria. So fantastic. When I went into the market, yes, they have mobile phones, but they're not Android or iOS. They are
iOS,
just
yeah.
like Palasa phones. They're not
Balancer.
Palasa phones that they cannot do much with you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
so if you really really want to empower these people, if you really
Mm,
want to give them access, they need
mm,
devices as well. So that's
mm.
another way
And
they're able to.
so
And there's
so so okay, go ahead. You wanted to say something before we miss that.
no, 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 just continue. You can continue, it's
No, no,
fine.
no, I was going to say that. I mean, and somebody asked the question in the chat. So, how do you include those women, especially because yours is a digital product, isn't it?
Yeah.
As well. So, how
Hmm.
are we going to reach those women, who are underserved in quotes? Or, will we give them devices or give them
That's one of, yeah, we
buy
can't
BNPL, buy now
buy
pay
now, pay
later kind
later.
of
So there are
device?
companies
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I was going to talk about. A company that was the next. That was what I was actually going to say when it got cut off.
yeah,
When
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a company that actually helps with digital devices, but I know the country director,
Mm-hmm,
Babajide Duroshola. So
mm-hmm,
I've forgotten what the name of the company is, or the name. I've forgotten the name of the company, but they also help people at the bottom of the pyramid get access to digital devices that actually help them with their lives. Like, it actually helps them to for things like creating content. Those are things that will make people buy from person A instead of person B because they've seen a video
mm-hmm.
or something.
Yeah.
So they're not only using that phone to learn, they're also using it to help their businesses. They're able to post on WhatsApp stories so that their followers can see that they have this product, right? So
Mm-hmm.
access to digital devices is a huge, huge,
It
huge thing,
is.
which is why I'm very
It is.
happy with what you're
Yeah. Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't take that for granted. I mean, we can do a lot
Yes.
of gisting and talking. If people don't have
Mm-hmm.
devices, they can't participate. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
interesting. We've not looked at mobile devices, but there's a collaboration we were thinking about as well.
Mm-hmm.
That we're talking about mobile devices, to also help. But obviously, it's key if we need to,
Yeah.
get our people digitally ready or to even
Yes.
participate in the digital economy, just like you said. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little
But
bit
with economy,
about.
sorry, for those women
Okay,
in the market,
yeah,
they're not on
yeah,
our app. So what we did was we digitized the process for them. So we went to meet
okay,
them. That process
okay,
for them is still very
hmm,
manual, and we're creating a system where they can
fantastic.
actually still access financial services without the
Hmm.
device. So that's one thing that
Fantastic.
we're doing, and that program that I was talking about that we got into with Lagos Business School is to actually
Hmm.
create a product that can actually work for them, because we've actually seen that in the market, these low income women don't actually have the iOS and Android phones, and not everybody can
Mm,
actually afford devices. So how can they still access some of the services without them having those devices? So we actually tried to do USSD,
mm,
but
mm.
right, it got cracked down very recently.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we just
Mm-hmm,
said, you know
mm-hmm.
what, let's look for another way. So thankfully, we got into this program. So we're actually going to come up with a product that is digitally accessible, but not necessarily having to do with them having an iOS and Android phone. Yeah.
Fantastic. And guys, I mean, for the guys in the audience, and you know, you can ask questions, of course, but what you're seeing here is not just talking in general terms. This is a product. This is innovation. This is
Mhm.
identifying challenges and trying to resolve them. And this is
Mhm.
what is exciting about the conversation, you know, that we're having. So this is a real problem. I'm always quite excited where you actually have a problem. And I mean, it may work, it may not work, but at least you can identify that this is
Yeah.
something, you know, that
Hmm.
you can attack, and then your creative juices can work,
Yeah.
you know, around. Let me ask this question, and this is just you talking because we were talking about ideas, bouncing off ideas. So, um, emerging tech, you know, the tech that which is includes the field of AI and cybersecurity, etc. You know, is reshaping finance. Okay, so from blockchain, micro, you know, blockchain based micro loans. Which innovation are you seeing today that holds the most potential, you know, to empower women financially? And I'm talking generally. So I'm saying that let's not even talk about the economy now. This is if you're
Yeah.
thinking strategically, you know, what do you
Hmm.
think holds the most potential for women today, you know, in terms of tech?
Artificial intelligence. Like, I
Okay.
think that it is changing the game for everybody. And the truth
Mm-hmm.
is, if you can even learn
Mm-hmm.
like using a strategy, if you have a question, if you want to do any investment, you can literally
Mm-hmm.
ask. You can literally ask ChatGPT. Obviously, you have to do some more digging and you have to ask the right questions. So it's important for you to know how to use,
Mm-hmm.
or and the most popular one, that's why I said ChatGPT, but the most popular one is ChatGPT, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
to know how to ask the questions. So I was working on a presentation, and I wanted to, without stressing myself so much, I wanted to get a list of companies who had like the amount of the top companies that had stocks like 5 years ago, how much the stock
Mm-hmm.
was then and how much the stock is now, right? And I wanted it to create a table for me so I could, use it as part of my presentation. And I didn't want to go one by one. Oh, Apple, Netflix, it would have taken too long. So I just went on ChatGPT and said, give me a list of top 10 companies in the world and let me know their stocks then in 5 years ago, how much it is now, and the percentage
Mm-hmm.
in growth. And it just came out within 1 minute. Can you see how, like, and that is like a game changer, and that can
Yeah,
help you immediately make the like investment decisions. So if I want to
absolutely.
invest right now, and I'll just gonna say, show me the top companies that have been consistent over the last 10 years. It will bring it up, and
Mm.
I'll just go boom, 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 share the money that I have, and just go sleep. Trust me. So like,
The plenty money that's there.
exactly. So, like, I think that artificial intelligence is really, really going to
Mm,
change the game for so many things. It will help you
mm,
to innovate. It will help you to really, really question some of the questions that you already have. I
yeah.
use
Mm,
ChatGPT is like my sister. Like the way I ask it questions, like. Well, not just I
mm,
use so many different types. There's Claude AI. I use it to create presentations, like real
mm,
presentations. Before I now it will bring it out to me in PowerPoint. I'll now redesign it again just so that it doesn't look too AI-ish. So there's
mm,
so many things you can create videos with artificial intelligence, right? So I think artificial
mm,
intelligence is the one that is the
yeah.
technology of the future that is more relatable, that is useful for all of us. Like blockchain is
Yeah.
good, but blockchain is useful for like big tech. It's useful for like transparency and all that, but not everybody needs that.
Mm,
We
mm.
need to all be transparent and all of that, but not everybody in their day-to-day lives actually need it. So I think that artificial intelligence works is useful for everybody, top to bottom, at any level in your life. You need artificial intelligence, and it's useful for in any way that you want to use it for. So yeah, I
Fun,
think artificial intelligence is
fun.
actually going to change the game for all of
Yeah,
us.
it has already actually. People don't know that,
Yeah.
you know. So the thing
Mm-hmm.
right now is that a lot of people are, have a lot of advantage over others because they use artificial intelligence, and people don't
Mm-hmm.
even really know that that's what's happening. But hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
people catch up and begin to use it
Let me
properly.
make you laugh. We sent
Okay.
after our conference, we sent an email, like a thank you email to our speakers, and somebody responded, and she said, she was trying to respond to us saying, "Oh, thank you so much. I loved my gift, and I loved the vouchers." That was her response, right? But at the top of it, I just saw, "Here is a more
Oh la la
personalized
la la la.
response." I laughed so hard. I guess what? This is the head of comms in a global company. I
Oh
laughed so
my
hard. I took a screenshot
word.
and I sent it to her. I said, "Ah, ChatGPT has finished you." She laughed.
Auntie,
It was
auntie.
so funny. It was so funny. So
All right,
everybody's
yeah,
using it. And this was just a simple response, a simple thank you. That she could have
yeah,
just been
yeah.
saying, "Thank you so much. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. I had a good time." Like, she wanted it
You
to
know
be a bang
what?
bang bang
Say,
response.
I'm
So she
telling
forgot
you.
to take out the top. So it's important,
Oh
even
my
though
goodness.
she's my girl, but that could have been any it can happen to any one of us. So I'm just trying to say
Of
that we're
course.
all using it. We're all using ChatGPT. So
They casted.
trust me, take advantage of it. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's not even just conversations. There's so many things, like you said, that
Yes.
you can do. That people are only
Mhm.
just scratching the surface. And we will continue doing, series on artificial intelligence because I just think it's changing everything, absolutely
Mhm.
changing the game. Okay, so cool. Someone is asking, how do I join your community? Just before we do our meets and facts bullet questions.
Okay, just
How
download the
do
Her
I?
Economy app.
Mhm.
It's available on iOS and Android. And once you download it, you're part of the community. You start getting messages, emails, opportunities, and all of that from us. And when we have hangouts and different networking opportunities, the community is always the first to know. We try to make it a real community as opposed to just a community just getting like newsletters. So we try to host like
Mhm.
community events where we can all just hang out, meet up, because we know that sometimes the cocoa is in the people that you meet. So when you meet people, when you have the opportunity to talk to them, so many business ideas, can come out of it. We
Mhm.
had a community member once who she was literally at the point of suicide, and she didn't know what to do. She was
Oh
confused with
wow.
life. Her husband had just lost his job, and she just said, "Let her just join for the like last thing that she would just try." And she did it, and then her business, she decided to restart her business and put in energy into it. I didn't know this babe from anywhere, from Adam. And one day we were having an in-house in-person meetup with one of our community members stores, and she
Mhm.
came in. I just saw somebody coming in with like children, and I was like, who is this? So this was just supposed to be like a community hangouts, but she brought her family members to come and thank me that, oh, this is what she had been going through. She joined the community and now her business is doing XYZ. It has grown. She had now employed people. So sometimes just having those people around you who you can actually talk to. Before, we used to do more frequent events. It's not as frequent, but we still do the events. Yes, so join the community, download the app, you get opportunities and all of that from us. Thank you.
Is it only for women?
It's no, it's female focused. That's why I like to tell people it's female focused. So we have men in the community, but most times you really see women. But
So
yeah,
so
it's
so you have you
inclusive,
have
but
you
very
have ma- you
inclusive.
have you have male supporters.
Yes, we have he for she's. He for
Yes. Well,
she's. Yes.
yeah. So guys, I mean, someone's asking the questions. Ife, yeah, and Ife talks fast, and I love the passion. It's Haconomy app. Okay, that's what she said. You need to download
HER. Let
the
me type it.
HER. Yes, please, the Haconomy app. Right? Yeah, yeah. Someone has done it as well, but yours is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Oyin asked that question. Very cool. Okay, so lots of conversations, guys, and very down to earth. She really is the relatable CEO.
Thank
Yeah. All right.
you.
So cool. So let's do myth versus facts. I'm just going to read a sentence to you. You tell me if you think it's a myth or a fact, and just in one sentence,
Okay.
explain why you think that. So the first is women do not support each other enough in tech. Myth or facts?
It's a myth, but it depends on who you meet, right? But I think it's a myth.
Okay.
People are
Okay.
people, right? We don't just put them together. So yeah, that's what I
Absolutely.
think. That yeah.
So no stereotyping, no putting people in boxes. It's really about people, not about the gender.
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
my gender. Okay, women-led startups don't perform as well as those led by men. Myth or fact? I like to hear what you say on this one.
That's not true. In fact, when
The
you even
stats,
check the
data.
stats, the data
Okay,
shows that women actually do better as leaders than men. And if you
no,
even
no, no,
check
no, no,
like
no, 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 no. I'm not saying, okay, let's argue this one. I'm not saying are they better leaders or better managers. I'm saying do they do well in terms of numbers and figures
they
without any
they
prejudice to their abilities, by the
yes,
way.
they
I'm just
I
talking about the
think that
stats.
they I think yes, I think that they do well. And with the stats, if they are funded, the problem is that women are not
Exactly.
funded as much as men. So if we're giving them the same amount of funding that men have access to, of course,
Why are they not funded? Well, help us remind us about some of these
so
things.
many issues. So I think that sometimes if you're not going through some challenges, you might not really realize that those challenges exist. So
Hmm.
I don't think that a lot of the funders, let's not lie, globally are men, right?
Okay.
So they don't really understand some of the challenges that women face. They don't
Mm,
understand, and sometimes even some women are even creating solutions that are not only solutions that women need; they are global solutions. But sometimes men just come and are more confident in the way that they position themselves, in the way that
I
they
agree.
speak. Even when they only have one piece of paper, they've not done anything. They'll say, "I will build this whole house. It will be like heaven." But women will be like, "Oh yes, I can build it, and we're going to have a community of people that are going to build it with us, and we believe that it's going to be the best house ever." But men will be like, "Just give me $10 million, and you're going to see that house tomorrow. Trust me on that." And the man will be like, "Yes, yes, that's my."
Uh,
So I think in the way that they pitch, so there's so many factors. One is because
mm, mm-hmm,
more is the men that actually have the money.
mm-hmm.
Nowadays we're seeing a lot of women now have like funds and all of that, but how much do they really have and how many are they? So those
So
are
it's
the
more.
real
So
problems.
yeah, it's more. It's more. It's a lot about. So there's this famous phrase, that Bulu always talks about. It's women are over mentored and under funded.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's very
which is
true.
something that she talks about. Okay, cool. So meaning that if it's a fair playing ground, if it's a fair field, anytime,
Yes,
any day, you
yes,
think that the women will do better.
I think so.
In
Yeah.
in Namibia, by the way, I just for those of you guys who don't know, in Namibia, they just saw having the
Vice
female.
president.
Uh,
Hmm.
no, the female. She's a female president. She appointed a female vice president,
Vice
and her
president.
cabinet
Yes.
is 60% female. So, point is, we're going to test this theory in Namibia. I mean, look at what's happening with the soldier guy in Burkina Faso and what he's doing. So let's
Mm-hmm.
see. Let's put that theory to the test because it's more female than men in Namibia
Mm-hmm.
today. Okay. All right. So let's see. Third one. Women should only be community managers and not in core tech roles. Myth or fact?
That's also a myth. Like women can do. I think we shouldn't put women in boxes, right? So I don't
Absolutely.
think they should only be community men. I think that they can do different, and you'd see women who are doing different things actually excel.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, most of
in
the, I
tech,
mean,
especially in
uh,
tech. Yeah.
in tech, at the point, Microsoft, Dell, and so many of the country directors in Nigeria leading those
Mhm.
organizations were women. At some point, I was a lone voice from HP, where most of my colleagues were women, and they're
Mhm.
doing great stuff. Okay, are women, are they risk averse investors? Or how would you say that? Are they risk averse?
Yes, that's very true. So
Huh?
I think that's a factor in my experience and how I've the women that I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with. So we had a woman come into our office 2 weeks ago. She wanted to invest 70 million with us, and we were
Okay.
excited. She was ready to roll and all of that. And then later she came and said, "Oh, that her husband said XYZ."
Wow.
So not only are they risk averse, a lot of them put the funding or the decision making into the hands of their husbands, where they should, if it's your money, I think you should have more say. Not just because you have a husband, you now say, "Oh, you don't want him to solely make the decision," right? And what if
Mm,
he some you've seen in the past where women would give all their money to their spouses and the spouse would give it out or use it for invest in MMM and all kinds of things. So you want to be able to make those risks,
Oh
take
my
those
God.
risks, and deal with the consequences of your actions. So I think it's important for you as an
Mm,
individual
mm,
to make those decisions by yourself, because it's very painful if you hand over a huge amount of money to somebody else and the person messes it up. There are also instances when obviously you make decision as a couple,
as a
and you
unit,
decide to go
yeah.
as a unit, and you decide to go a certain way, but not that you've made a decision and somebody else changes your mind and all of that.
Mm.
Sometimes it doesn't sit well, it doesn't work out like that.
All right, cool. So that I think that would be fine. I mean, let's okay, this one is important, and I thought it's important. It's interesting that I would say that the gender funding gap in fintech will close on its own over time. Do you believe in evolution, or do we have to engineer that evolution? What are your thoughts?
I believe that we have to engineer that evolution. Because if we
Okay.
leave things as it is,
Mm-hmm.
it would continue to even be wider. And that's why
Okay.
even with all the efforts that the United Nations have put into like gender
Mm,
equality, even the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they've been screaming about it, and but we're still seeing the gap, like it keeps increasing. So we need to
mm,
be more intentional about creating those opportunities, and or not just creating it, also making sure that that information actually gets down to the people who actually need it. So
mm,
at our conference, the DJ of Smedan said they had, I
mm.
think, billions of naira with different
Yeah, I
banks.
saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, with
TikTok.
different
Yeah.
banks, and only
Yeah.
12
Mm-hmm.
people had accessed it at the end of
Mm,
last year. And it's very
mm,
painful, very disheartening to see that,
mm,
there's no funding, and people
mm.
say there's no funding, but meanwhile there's funding and people are
Yeah.
not accepting it or applying to get it, So
Mm-hmm.
we need to be more vicious about these things, especially as women. And when we get it, we need to make sure that we manage our resources, wisely. You definitely make mistakes. Different things will happen, but don't be too closed up to learn. Always like speak to people, have mentors,
Mm.
that you can speak to when you want to make a decision, so that your mistakes are a bit more manageable, so that we don't create
Yeah.
blunders. Yeah.
Absolutely, and but women are doing. I think they're really on the rise at the moment. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I am testament to that. Okay, so and rewriting the narrative, but there's still a lot of work to be done. To be honest, the
Yeah.
gaps are still wide, and
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, guys, just give it up for Ife Durosinmi-Etti. You have a
Thank you.
very commanding last name as well, just so you know. To put it rather lightly. But it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Now we're going to do something interesting. It's not. I don't like to call it giveaways because I mean, just so you guys know, for the people who win the laptops, and I'll talk about ChatGPT since we talked about it right now. Now, for the
Mhm.
people who we give the laptops to, you will go through a compulsory period of training. Actually, you get inducted into an academy called the Single Thick Academy, where we will monitor. What is it? Monitor will hold you accountable. All right, so that you actually do what it is you say that you're going to do with this device. Okay. Now, for one of the ways to actually get to give the pitch is to give an absolutely amazing pitch on the forms. All right, to write. This is why I want to win the laptop. I realize some people don't take it seriously. People don't see opportunity, and so they don't take advantage of opportunities. Others now are
Mhm.
using ChatGPT. I have no problem with you using ChatGPT, but you are not giving the right prompts. So ChatGPT is generic and it's not reflecting who you are and what your story is, and that's very important. For those people who put thoughts into it and who really really think about what they want to write, it usually comes through. Even if they have enhancements, it always usually comes true. Okay, so we want to say congratulations. Now, for every person who gets to pitch, I think I have a list of about six now. I'll talk about the names. You will already get 1 month's worth of data, all right? Because we believe that data is also important. Devices, data, and digital literacy. Those are the three pillars on which we think transformation digitally can happen. All right, so I'm about to talk about the guys who pitch now. Again, I'm going to be there, but the person you should be pitching to is Ife because she's the one who's going to do the choosing. You can troll her on handle. That's not my problem. And it's all Ife. Okay, so I'll talk about the finalists, and then we'll call you one after the other to give your 1 minute pitch. Remember when they talked about the 5 second elevator pitch? This is it. Okay, she's left. Thank you so much. So Ife, please, sorry, over to you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Manuel, for having me. I've had a blast. It just this session literally just reminded me of, where I'm coming from, and it's very important to just always keep it simple, keep it plain. I don't like when people like bombard me with English without really telling me the nitty gritty. So I try not to do that as well whenever I'm invited to speak to people. So I hope somebody here has learned a thing or two from my story.
Yeah.
It hasn't been an easy journey. It's been extremely difficult. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey.
Mm,
But I've been lucky to have a lot of like supporters, support systems, companies coming on board to like sponsor, partner with me on this journey. But I will not lie, I've been very privileged. But I also build and maintain, those relationships. It's so important for
mm,
you not to always be a taker, always find
yeah.
ways to like add value to people.
Mhm. We lost you. I don't know if it's you or me. Uh, can you guys hear me?
Behind those desks, right? So I can tell them, oh, okay, I can help you with this, I can help you with that, I can promote something that you're doing in your personal life. Some people have personal I don't know, things that they want to do for legacy and all that. I can support them. If it's their child's birthday, I will send a gift. Everybody loves their child. If it's their child's birthday, I will send a gift to their child. Just little things like that. And it doesn't have to be a big gift. It's just to show that I see you and I appreciate, what you're doing. Those little things go the longest way. So always be a
Mm,
person of value. Don't always think
mm,
about taking. Always see how you can also add value, in people's lives. So like I said, entrepreneurship is a very tough journey. Always think about it before you jump into it. But the most important thing is for you to actually really be solving a real problem. If it's a real problem that you're solving, the customers will definitely
mm,
come.
mm,
So, and for you to know if it's a real problem that you're solving, or if you're confused about the kind of business to start, if you ever want to, if you know that, okay, you really just want to start a business, look at the sustainable development goals, right? They are already listed. There are issues. Oh,
there's a feedback, sorry.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
feedback.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there are issues globally that the United Nations have identified from education, gender equality. You can partner with people who are already solving those goals. There's one on innovation. There's just different ones. There's one on solving like hunger, ending world hunger. There are different ones, and I think there are about 17 goals. Just look at those goals and pick one area you think that you have the skill set for, and come up with a solution in that area. And more than likely, not only will you actually find customers, you would also see global support. But obviously, you have to be well positioned for it. So yeah, that's it. In terms of the pitches, um, from my look of things, a lot of people were not prepared. A lot of people that were called upon, like you can't have this kind of opportunity and not be one in a quiet area when you're called upon to pitch. It's not possible.
Mm,
It's like, are you dreaming? Are you joking? Everybody's fighting for this one laptop, and you're not trying to be the best positioned person. It doesn't have to be your house. You can go somewhere, go to a quiet, I don't know, cyber cafe, something. You have to be in a quiet area. You have to be sure the internet connection. You have to take it personally. You don't know who else is listening. Somebody else might be watching. Like I have so many followers who are passionate about this kind of thing that may just be watching. And even if you don't get a laptop, for example, they may want to give you money. They may want to give you a job. There's so many things. But if you're not well positioned, and if you don't, you have to package yourself. Trust me. You just have to look the part. It's not like you can't be on a bed and be pitching. It's not possible. Like it looks like you're not
Mm.
serious. You can't, you have to really, really look the part. You have to have internet A, internet B. I know that it's very difficult for you to buy data and things like that. But at this point when you have an opportunity to actually get something, you have to have two options or three options of internet. You get your friend's phone. One is Airtel, another one is MTN, another one is Smile. That's what I do to position
Mm.
yourself and give yourself a better advantage over other people. Today, we don't know how many people were shortlisted, right? Sorry, we know how many people
Mm.
were shortlisted. We don't know how many people applied. Next week, or next month, it might be 2,000 people. So it might even be bigger.
Yeah.
So trust me, you don't even know. So sometimes the opportunity you have, just make sure you come correct that one time, because you have only one opportunity to people that pitch. Let me say some people that pitch didn't make their pitch memorable. I there was somebody who was pitching who was literally reading. I could see it. That person was reading.
Yeah.
I, I
Yes.
have I have pitches where I'm reading, but you can never catch me that I'm reading. That's why you know that somebody is an OG. Do you understand? The way you
Mm.
position
Mm.
the phone, it will not be obvious that you're reading. You'll be looking up, you'll be talking to it as if you don't, and that's how people like Barack Obama and Co. do. Obviously, they have more experience and Co. They're all reading from teleprompters, but nobody knows,
Yeah.
right? So
Absolutely.
these are just the secrets behind the scenes and all of that. But there's a way you position yourself. You put the laptop straight. You put the thing behind you, so that when you're reading, obviously you will have practiced, so that it's not everything you're reading word for word. You look at people in the eye, and then you also look at, there's a way you do it so that you look more professional and more like, I got this. I know what I'm saying. And you'll be dropping gems, right? And you
Facts.
also facts. You also personalize it.
Facts.
Like
Mm.
nobody, I don't think anybody here made it personal to them. There was somebody there who said, that one of their laptops is faulty and all of that, and that made me remember him because he made it personal to him. But everybody was just, reading through a pitch like, oh, let's pitch. But he said it from the beginning. He said, tell us what you want to use the laptop for and what this laptop is going to help you to do. But everyone was just saying things, big, big things, big, big things. But there's a way you make it more memorable to you. And you can tell ChatGPT to make it memorable to you. If you tell ChatGPT your own story and your problem and say, I'm about to pitch. This is my problem. They've asked me to do a 1 minute pitch. And I want to make it personal to me. This is my problem. My laptop has spoiled, or I don't have money to buy laptop. Things are very hard in Nigeria. I want. Someone else said that he's a freelancer and a virtual assistant. You say I'm a virtual assistant, and maybe I normally I work on Upwork and all these other websites and all that. But right now I cannot apply for jobs because I don't have a laptop. And when they invite me for interviews, I cannot turn up because I don't have a laptop. How I need this
Mm.
laptop to actually help me get better jobs, provide for my family, and this. Bam, A1, A star, because you understand it's personal to him, and that problem is a real problem. If you're a freelancer or a virtual assistant, you need a laptop, because if Upwork should say, oh yeah, come and apply for a job, or come for an interview, if on the phone it's not as good as when you're on a laptop. So it's that one I can easily connect to it if you tell me that story, right? So
Mm.
there's a way you really, really sell your story that person will be like, hey, oh my God, like I really need to help this person, right? So I understand everybody learns every day. But please take this home with you. You always have to look the part. When you're pitching, you always have to be in a quiet place. No matter the suffer that is suffering you, you must always look the part whenever your helper is presented in front of you. That is how it is everywhere, no matter what. People always want to help people that look like they don't need help. That is just life. you know
Mm.
so people, do you understand? So
Fantastic.
you just, yeah, you
Fantastic.
have to really, really package yourself, please, guys. It's so, so important. Obviously have
Yeah.
the content, but really, really package yourself. So that's one of the things that I
Mm.
just wanted to say. Well done, guys. You guys have
Fantastic.
done a great job for even applying. So that's good. I'm happy that people apply, but I'm very sad that a lot of women that applied who were shortlisted weren't here.
Couldn't
But I'm
pitch. Yeah,
sure,
they didn't
yeah,
come.
couldn't pitch. That's very unfortunate. That's what we actually see. Men take advantage of the
Mm.
opportunities a lot more than women. The data is everywhere. We give out
Mm.
funding to women at our conference, and it's always hard to find people to apply. So there's money, you don't want to apply for the money. Why? So we need more women taking advantage of these opportunities. A laptop, trust me, is a life changer. I don't want to start telling the stories of what my laptop helped me do last year, just because I had a laptop and internet. In fact, like I made extra in 1 month $10,000 just because I had a laptop, right? So I understand the importance of having a laptop and using it wisely. So people should not take you're not getting cash today, but a laptop is a tool to actually give you financial freedom. So please always come correct whenever you're given this opportunity. So thank you, Ewano, for having me. I've had a blast, like I said, and I look forward to even, being part of this process. This has been very
Yeah,
enlightening
yeah,
just to
yeah,
see
yeah.
how, people pitch and all of that. And we have a lot of pitch sessions. So with her economy, like, if you're part of the community, you would learn and see how other people pitch, so you
Fun,
can just spread out your
fantastic.
success.
Enough said. In fact, you know what I'm thinking? Jonah and some of the guys in my team, see these points that you've made, let's all just package it and then we start blasting it before every stop so that people can
Yeah.
listen and come prepared. A lot of
Mm-hmm,
people have said it, but I think you articulated it with passion and as usual. And I see why you win.
mm-hmm.
All right, but
You
it's
have to
been
give
great having.
yourself the best, put your best foot forward the first time.
Absolutely,
Very important,
absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you so much for all of the insights. We will put
Thank
this
you.
entire recording, obviously, on the YouTube channel so people can rewatch. But we'll also bring out a lot of the excerpts in the coming days and in the coming weeks. And of course, Ife is also going to announce. I get the feeling she already has an idea who the winner is, but she'll announce eventually on her profile, and we will
Mm-hmm,
collaborate, and then we'll also make some noise about it and congratulate
mm-hmm.
the winner. So it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you, Ife, again, for dropping all the gems
Thank you.
and for sparking inspiration. So, everybody here,
Thank
please
you.
keep watching us, keep following us, keep dreaming, keep building, keep believing. Your vision is valid, your voice matters, and
Mm-hmm.
all. And we hope to see you at the top. And we always like
Thank
to hear your
you.
story. All right. So, take care. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely
All right.
weekend and a
Thank
great
you.
week ahead. And
All
speak
right.
to you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.